Officially 10 days to Christmas. Good morning and welcome. I'm Dayo Akintobi.
And it's a dusty but cool weathered morning. Welcome to your perfect morning starter. I am Bukola Koka.
And I'm Jeffrey. As always, we'll bring you up to speed with what's happening around our world, especially where we live, Nigeria. As always, my goons are here, guys. What's up?
No goons here, Jeffrey. No goons at all here.
We'll begin with good news this morning. Congratulations to Kayode.
Yes.
Our very own Kayode Akintobi emerged Newscaster of the Year yesterday at the Nigerian Media Merit Award 2025 edition for 2024. Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
So that's our own Kayode Akintobi, Newscaster of the Year on Nigeria's most respected media awards, Nigeria Media Merit Award. He won the Newscaster of the Year at this particular event. I think that was yesterday. Saturday, stroke into Sunday, and all of that.
Quite late.
So finished quite late. So you can say double. So congratulations to you. More awards for you in the coming, as your career progresses. So
Amen.
It means we're doing something right. So that means I'm hopeful that this weekend there will be turn up, some sort of. So
since we've been counting down to Christmas, right?
So we've been counting down to Christmas.
And there's Kayode surrounded by our colleagues from Channels TV, senior management team congratulating him, and of course our other colleagues. So
congratulations to our very own Kayode Akintobi. I can see Otai, I can see
Joke Rogers,
I can see GM Ambrose Oko and the rest of them. So it's a great one. We've won this over and over and over again, but it's always
Station of the Year
it's always,
over and over again.
It's always an honor. It's always a privilege. So first, be recognized. I think that's the beginning.
Absolutely.
That you are recognized for the work you do. It's a big deal. And then to go on and win the award itself is even better. So congratulations to all of the nominees across all of the categories, and congratulations to the eventual winners in all of the categories. This is just some motivation for everyone to keep working hard and keep pursuing excellence and professionalism and objectivity and fairness. Our work is a very interesting work. It's exciting but also dangerous at the same time. So congratulations to you and to everybody else who won this award. So we have
So just to say that the Nigerian Media Merit Award is one of the most prestigious awarding institutions in Nigeria. It's been going on for more than 2 decades.
Yeah, 33 years.
Yes, 33 years. And so it's an honor to have our very own Kayode Akintobi emerge a Newscaster of the Year. One of the awards of the
why are you holding the awards?
Because
there's a green on it. She's wearing
no, not necessarily that. I feel good carrying this. It's very heavy, but it also means that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
It's okay.
So,
thank you very much.
I'm very honored to lift this on your behalf.
I'm dedicating it to everyone, actually.
Indeed.
For every program, for every newscast, there's a whole team behind the scenes. There is at least right now perhaps 7 people in the MCR.
There's a village.
There's a producer. There is the whole newsroom. There's me, the admin staff, and I must particularly dedicate this to our chairman and vice chairman, Dr. John Momo and Dr. Shola Momo. Very interesting fun fact. Exactly 33 years ago, our chairman, who I describe as the anchor of anchors, the king of men. We can go on and on with all of those, nicknames. Won the same award.
Yeah.
Exactly 33 years ago. So excellence flows from top all the way down. So congratulations to all of us. Bukola, you can have it, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll collect it after the show.
We're going to keep it at the center of the...
Would you like to hold it?
It's okay.
It's quite heavy, actually.
Yeah, it's quite... No, I used to gym before, so this is very light.
So you can actually have a gym.
Yeah, it's like a dumber.
Yeah.
But it's a good dumbbell, by the way.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that was just me joking. Congratulations to you. We're super excited, as we say. We've been winning this, and we'll continue to win this because we like to do our job professionally, excellently, to the best of our ability. And as Nigerians will say, we'll leave the rest to God. So, Guy, congratulations to you. More wins for you in many other categories. So I want to use this opportunity to say congratulations again to every winner, every nominee. The media is a collective space. I just feel that as a professional, media professional, all of us that are here, we're just extra voices sustaining a legacy. This is one of the testament that perhaps we're doing something really right, and we'll continue to do it to the best of our ability. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And yes, away from that, what else are we tracking, guys?
Well, I wish we were going to be telling good stories all through, but that's not the case. One of the things that is coming through from the last 24 hours is the NLC stating that it is scheduled to go on a protest march on the 17th of December, to kick against insecurity in the country. And the reasoning put forward by the president of the NLC, Mr. Joe Ajaero, is that insecurity in the country affects everyone, especially workers. He cited the Kebbi incident, where one of the persons affected besides the children is a worker, and so that's the concern of the NLC. And it doesn't just affect workers, it affects those in the private sector as well. It affects the generality of Nigerians. So the NLC president says December the 17th is a date that will not change for the planned protest against insecurity in the country. Speaking of which, over the weekend, unfortunately, news came through again that there was another attack in Kogi State, where I believe one person was killed and an undetermined number of worshippers were abducted. I recall the attack in Kogi State too, prior to that time, some weeks back, where a celestial church, I believe, was attacked. The abductees have not yet been released, and we've had the Kogi State government speak through the Commissioner for Information, assuring that the state government is in full control of the situation, but encouraging people not to go to areas where they can be vulnerable to attacks. So that's an unfortunate news coming from Kogi State yet again. But if the track soundbite is ready, let's hear the NLC president, where he will have the soundbite much later on. But guys, that was quite concerning over the weekend.
Well, I don't, with the greatest respect to the NLC, they've lost the, do you call it now, the vigor.
That bite.
The vigor. I was trying to look for the exact word. I don't know whether vigor is the right word I'm actually looking for, but I'm looking for something a bit more serious that they had when NLC was NLC. With the greatest respect to Joe Ajaero and his entire team, I think they need to sit down, look inwards, and then need to know how to get the buy-in of the people yet again into whatever campaign they are pushing forward. It's a good thing that eventually they are now coming out to say we want to protest against something beyond just pay raise or all of the things that we're familiar with them protesting over time and again. And I like the narrative of whatever is going on affects workers. But I don't know whether Nigerians take NLC as seriously as they used to take them before. But let's see how it plays out. It will be commendable that the NLC will go beyond the usual reasons why they protest to come now and say, for the sake of maybe surge in prices, insecurity, whatever else apart from increase in salary or wage that they always protest against. It's interesting to see that happens. But I don't think Nigerians are paying so much attention to whatever the NLC is doing right now. But let's see how it plays out. I think it's Wednesday as a day that they've chosen to do that protest. It's within their rights, their fundamental human rights, to come out and say we will continue to speak against the killings, because human lives, that is supreme, literally, like that is what it is. According to the Constitution, it has to be protected by the state. And when the state fails to protect, anybody who comes out to say the state you're failing in your responsibility is within his or her rights. The state cannot respond to the best of their ability as much as they can. But guys, talking about lives and human life, you remember what happened at the Bondi Beach?
Oh, yes.
In Australia. I don't know whether many people saw it, but it was all over the world. I saw the last count yesterday. So something happened in Australia on Sunday. We were still on Saturday. They were already on Sunday because of the time difference, when two gunmen, a father and a son, we understand, the suspect that had been taken in, they went in to this festival by Jews.
The Hanukkah celebration.
Hanukkah celebration. This is predominantly a Jewish community in Southwest. I've forgotten the name of that state now in Australia. But at that the popular beach is a destination for a lot of tourists. And these guys with high caliber weapon started opening fire on innocent people and eventually killed 14 on the spot. I think one person died later in the hospital, including the gunman who shot Assad last night. And it was just a horrifying scenario. But what was a moment of I don't want to call it celebration, heroism, if you will, where a gentleman, an elderly man, was able to walk through certain parts around the car park and then demobilize and tackled one of the gunmen, took the gun from him, though he was shot later. But nothing to worry about. This is the second time actually this is happening. It happened last year. So that's the video of the man who tackled the gunman. So the man in white is just a passerby who doesn't have any experience with gun or nothing. He was just a patriot who said, look, this cannot happen under my watch. He risked his life to take the gun from the man who is wearing white and black and all of that. So that's the man who took the gun from him. So it's just a very horrifying scene. If you see the gun these guys were carrying, very terrible gun. And this is the second time I've seen in this same Bondi where a knife man also attacked a mall but was taken down by the police. Guys.
It's a lot to unpack from this particular event in Sydney, really. Yes, meant to be a celebration, a happy day, a joyful day. So you understand that people just went there to have fun. A lot of them shirtless, having drinks with family, celebrating the Hanukkah festival. And then this happened. By the way, Australia has one of the most stringent gun laws. Right, so you don't expect people to have even random guns, talk more of sophisticated weapons, semi-automatic weapons, such as this one. It leaves a very bad taste in the mouth. This is drawing the different, religious divides yet again. It's pulling at it, almost ripping it apart. And I know that there's going to be a strong response to this, even in other parts of the world, that this didn't happen. In fact, if you see the footage eventually, when the gunmen were neutralized, there was a certain man who went to check, but because he had that look of, he had beards and he had a certain look, people attacked him because they thought he was part of the... So the stereotype is then going to spread. Incidentally, the hero who saved the day in some sense, fruit shop owner, is also someone you could easily have stereotyped in that sense, but it turned out to be the hero and not the attacker. I'm just worried that this will have bigger ramifications across the world beyond what we're thinking in Australia alone. And you've seen responses from other countries, Israel, the usual players. So I'm concerned that this may spiral into something bigger, and I think world leaders should come together and ensure that, first of all, this doesn't spiral into something bigger, because you do not touch people yet again during festivals. It happened in Israel some years ago. We see what is happening till today.
Yeah, so, and you talked about how Australia has stringent gun laws, but we're reading that one of the shooters, had a license to carry a hunting rifle, and so perhaps that was taking advantage of for this shooting. His son, I believe, is in critical condition, but I wonder if it has anything to do with President Trump designating Nigeria a country of particular concern last month. But since then, we've seen a resurgence of, condemnation of religious extremism, across the world, in different countries of the world, especially in the West, in the United States of America and in Britain. Does this also have anything to do with the rise in anti-Semitism following the, Israel's occupation of Gaza? But whatever the case, Kaide, your worry about, the interpretations and connotations that could be given to this particular event, especially amid huge religious tension that is also shaping geopolitics across the world. That is the exact, reason that we should be thinking about world peace and how, the world can move forward despite its differences, either in the Middle East or here in Africa, Nigeria to be precise, where also there are similar tensions as a result of killings that this country has had to go through for more than a decade now. And so that's one of the things that we should be reflecting on following this particular attack in Sydney, Hall Town, Australia. But it is very, very disheartening. It was a peaceful event. People just gathered for an expression of their convictions, and they shouldn't be targeted in such a manner, guys.
Absolutely. So the national security, international security, diplomacy, I don't know. Last night, guys, I was just processing. I said, what is going on with the world? It feels like the world should just come together. Let's pause for one day and ask ourselves, what exactly is going on with all of us? It looks like there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of killing. I don't know, but it's very disturbing, the things we see. And that's why even ECOWAS is saying they are going to, their sanctions they're up in arms against anyone, literally, in terms of sanction. If you move, we move you. And I'm happy ECOWAS is not taking a very preventative measure. So that will bring the issue of transnational or League of Nations protecting citizens as against the sovereignty of some of the states. But let's bring you up to speed with what we're doing today, and that will be, first up, we'll be bringing you issues around national and international security. But as it bothers us, there's been a coup in Guinea-Bissau, successful, a foiled one in Benin Republic. We are dealing with the dossier of ours, 160-something girls or children, if you will, and their teachers still missing, or still in the abductors' den, if you will, in Niger State. There are other reported cases. As far as Nigeria is concerned, a lot of people don't feel safe. But how can we get ourselves out of this mess? We have national security problems on our hand, and we will try as much as possible to solve it so that Nigerians will regain confidence. But all hands must be on deck. But in all hands being on deck, we must identify what the problems are, guys.
Yes, beyond security matters on the home front and continentally, we'll also be looking at the matter of defections, from Governor Aguke Ife's planned defection to Senator Natasha's resolve not to join the ruling All Progressives Congress. So we'll talk national politics as well. We'll also include a Accord Party somewhere in the mix much later on the program. There seems to be some cracks in the wall following what seems to be a new door opening to prosperity for the party. Jeffrey, what do you think?
Well, I think it's just typical of politics. Yes, we're speaking to the Osun State reality. So the governor of Osun State, we know he's moved to Accord Party. But guess what? Another group within the Accord Party conducted a primary and said, well, this is our candidate. Forget whatever happened with the governor of Osun State. It's typical. It's like every other day in Nigerian politics, sadly. So we'll get into that. I will also speak to the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, who's been investigated for corruption allegations. His party has been speaking, Atiku Abubakar has been speaking, the Kebbi ADC has been speaking, and guess what? The presidency has also been speaking. So we'll get into that on the show today.
Yes, we'll get into that. Before we bring in our guests, I'm just tired of what I call juvenile politics by Nigerian politicians. Two things I call juvenile politics. What is going on now? Just as soon as somebody gets a ticket, even if you go to, I don't know which is the most unpopular party, I don't want to call it popular, but go to the least unpopular, least popular party among the 19 or 18 parties in Nigeria, and let the governor defect there. You see a group will just search. What kind of juvenile politics is that? And then, if for any reason, this is hypothetical, it's not a possibility, if for any reason this president, Bola Tinubu, defects from his party right now, the way it is prosperous now in terms of politics, and goes to any party, let's say PDP or some party, you see these same governors who are following will now give a reason. See, we really are not following it's not APC we're following the person. I call it juvenile. We need to grow above this. I don't know. Anyway, Dayo Akintobi will join us in just a moment to help us make sense of what the headlines are saying. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's bring you what the dailies are saying. Which the worst spot for choice? I don't know. Where do we go to? Maybe if this Nigeria is ready. Mr. Dayo Akintobi is a journalist joining us virtually from the United Kingdom. Mr. Akintobi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
My pleasure. Good morning. And let me start by congratulating Kayode on a well-deserved award. More wins for Kayode, more wins for Channels, and for blazing a trail. Channels has always been at the top of the game, and they didn't disappoint this year. So more wins. Congratulations, Kayode. And by the way, Jeff, you look really spiffy this morning. I love that suit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The same men don't know how to accept compliments, but I accept it. But it's okay. Anyway, Mr. Akintobi, you look great as well. So let's get to the this Nigeria. This Nigeria is leading with 2027. It's 10 of the South. It's 10 of the South, says ADC chieftain El-Rufai, as opposition leaders warn of danger of one-party state. They are just blowing hot air. Presidency counters claims. So this kind of, if this really came from Nasser El-Rufai, this doesn't signify a good time in the future of the ADC, because I know people like Abubakar, the former vice president, who want to run. But this seems to be the natural sentiment of an unwritten convention when it comes to Nigerian politics, that South should do 8 years when North finishes 8 years. What do you make of this nuance, if you will?
Well, it's a gentleman's agreement that has always been a pivotal part of politics since 1999, and it's been quite respected, except for the one anomaly that occurred when late President Yar'Adua passed away and Vice President Goodluck had to step in for him. That was when that calculus was upended for a little while. But other than that, we've respected that rotational agreement as a way to solidify our unity and to make sure there's no marginalization and everyone feels that they belong to the federation. And it has worked quite well for our unity, I would say. And so part of why PDP had a problem in 2023 was the fact that it was viewed that it was a turn of the South after the Buhari 8 years was the North's turn, and the next 8 years should have been that of the South. So any Northerner who ran in 2023 was viewed as a usurper, except maybe by the Northerners anyway. But there were a good number of Nigerians who voted against the PDP simply because they felt they were violating that gentleman's agreement of that rotation between North and South. So truth be told, after the first 4 years of President Tinubu, the South is still entitled, not statutorily, but informally, the South is still entitled to another 4 years. Whether that 4 years comes from the APC, comes from the ADC, comes from the PDP, comes from whatever party, the bottom line is it should be Southern candidates that are presented by parties that respect the agreement that has held Nigeria together up till today in terms of political rotation and office sharing. Now, with regards to the ADC, the assumption or the speculation is that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is gunning for that ticket, and that he has basically structured that party in such a way that he will win the nomination, which is why you see people like Peter Obi beginning to become disillusioned with the ADC and is kind of backtracking away from that coalition. It's because the sense is that Atiku has sewn up the nomination. If that's the case, a person like El-Rufai is saying, boy, we're not going to go very far because it's still the turn of the South in 2027. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot the same way the PDP did in 2023. And I kind of align with what El-Rufai is saying, although I have issues with him, I have problems with him on other issues. But in terms of this rotational thing, I think that any party that wants to stand a realistic chance in 2027 needs to field a Southern candidate. And I think that's why you see people like Amechi, people like Obi, all of them went to the ADC in the hope that they would have a free and fair primary, and perhaps they would zone the presidency to the South if they learned the lessons from 2023. But it's clear that the lessons have not been learned if El-Rufai is having to remind the ADC that, look, we don't want to make the mistakes of 2023. It's the turn of the South. It's a continuing turn of the South in 2027. So let's not field a northern candidate. How that will sit with Atiku, I don't know. But the chairman of that party, David Mark, is an astute politician. He's been around for a long time. He started in the military. He's been in the Senate. He's been the Senate leader. So I think he has the gravitas to be able to navigate this issue and get some kind of a resolution that will stand the party in good stead. Because as it is, I'm not sure the PDP will have a candidate to field in 2027 based on all the things that are happening in the PDP. Look at just yesterday, Agbo Kefas of Taraba collected a membership form for the APC, which he postponed his movement to the PDP, to the APC because of what happened in Kebbi a couple of weeks ago. So his departure is a done deal. He's left the PDP, which I think leaves them with 4 governors or thereabouts. So they're not looking very well-footed for 2027. So ADC might be the only possibility in terms of mounting a proper challenge to the APC in 2027. And if they are now being mired in controversies of, we want to probably field a northern candidate when it should still be the South's turn, then they are already diminishing their own chances of putting on any kind of a credible competition. So I think that's what El-Rufai is warning against. And I think many Nigerians will identify with what El-Rufai is saying in this instance.
Interesting times, Mr. Akintobi. Just to be clear, that quote is from ADC News. Everyone is quoting ADC News, so you may not find that directly attributed to Mr. El-Rufai or in a tweet that he made. It was just ADC News that made that post. But let's head over to Vanguard newspaper this morning. Vanguard leads with a very, very shocking story. I mean, never would you have picture the time where a terrorist leader, or a bandit leader as you call him, would have his quote on the front page. But here we are. Allegations of a terrorist. Turji Bello says 2 former governors fueling insecurity. It's a page 5 read. He says ex-governors responsible for long-running insecurity in the north admits peace talks, denies 30 million naira payoff. It's all lies, say governor sources. And security forces gunned down notorious bandit Kachala and Ala in Sokoto. And you see a picture of Bello Turji right next to President Bola Tinubu's image on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Mr. Akintobi.
It's a sign of the times. I mean, this is the most wanted man in Nigeria, and he has the effrontery to be making press statements and be on the front page of a national daily. First of all, that means that he's out in the open. He's not hiding anywhere. For him to be this public and to be making this kind of statement, it means that his whereabouts are known, and that surprises me a lot because he's the most wanted man. With regards to the import of what he is saying, it's been speculated quite a bit that this insecurity is being fueled by internal sources, by very heavyweight politicians. It's been said that some of them armed bandits in terms of when the elections were coming to support their candidacy and support their campaigns. It's also been alleged that some of this, the arming of bandits has to do with land grabbing. Some of it has to do with our mineral resources. There are various reasons that have been alluded to as to why this is happening. But when you now hear that 2 sitting governors were actually involved in arming bandits, whether they're armed with the intention of what is happening now or they're armed with other motives that now spiraled out of control and got beyond them, the bottom line is the allegation by this Turji Bello is that 2 governors, he specifically named the states, Zamfara and Sokoto, and one of those 2 governors is currently serving in the EXCO today. And he said those 2 are privy, not just privy, but complicit in arming bandits and fueling this insecurity. Well, Of course, immediately the responses were quite vitriolic, saying that you can't believe the words of a terrorist. He's just saying this and saying that, and that he himself has collected money in the past, which he denied. Look, bottom line is this. The terrorism in Nigeria cannot be as rife as it is without some complicity from within. We all know this. And we've asked government to name the sponsors of terrorism. They even said it just last week that they will expose those who are sponsoring terrorism. So if these two governors, two former governors, are actually involved or were involved in this, then they should be made public. They should be accused publicly and taken through a prosecutorial process and brought to book if found to be culpable. I think that part of why this problem has defied solution is because there is internal conspiratorial efforts that, if you look at some of the news, for example, when the military gets ambushed, it's because somebody gave their movement away. When they get ambushed unexpectedly, you can tell that the bandits knew where they were going, when they would be passing a particular place, and they lay in wait for them. How did they get that kind of information? So there are people on the inside who are working with the bandits, working with the terrorists, cooperating with them, and if it actually reaches to the upper echelons of government, as is being alleged, it makes the whole situation a whole lot worse. There's a saying that the insect that eats the vegetable, or that eats away at vegetable, resides within the vegetable itself. It's not coming from outside and crawling in to come and eat the vegetable from wherever it's coming from, but that is actually located within the vegetable. So if this is what is happening, it makes this monster a whole lot harder to fight. And maybe that's why it's defied solution up to today, is that all the efforts, it's like you are in a car and one person is pressing the accelerator, the other person is pressing the brake at the same time. That car can't move forward. So if all our efforts are geared towards fighting this insurrection and taking it down, while at the same time people who are supposed to be on our side in fighting this are actually helping to support it, it just creates a stalemate. And maybe that's why we've been seeing a lack of progress in fighting this scourge. But my worry really is that a person like Turji Bello can actually be making public pronouncements, not just on the front page of a newspaper, a highly regarded daily newspaper, but the fact that he has the wherewithal, the effrontery, and the unmitigated gall to be able to come out and speak publicly. I don't care what he has to say. Yeah. I think that the fact that he is so very wanted, this is an indictment on us and ourselves, that he can have the effrontery to do this in spite of what he had to say.
And we hope that the Tinubu administration will have the political will to get out this insect that is eating the vegetable right inside the vegetable. The conspiracy is unsettling. There you have it, the image of a bandit. It's not concealed. We can see him, and that means that this bandit is known and can be arrested. Why he hasn't been arrested leaves very little to the imagination. The Guardian newspaper takes a different path away from the other papers, and the way this is captioned is causing us to reflect on cases of corruption that has been initiated against former officers of the past administration, beyond just at their own individual record, but holistically as a product of the legacy of the past administration. Mr. Akintobi, there you have it. Buhari's legacy on trial as Emefiele. Ex-ministers face 3.5 trillion naira graft probe. I believe this is an aggregation of the sums for which these past officers are being investigated for. There you have it. Former Minister Chris Ngige, former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Silva, Timi Press Silva. You have former DG of NS the social investment program under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Hajia Umar Sadiq. You have former governor of CBN there and the other past officers. Mr. Akintobi, how are you weighing in on this particular one?
This report is rather disconcerting for one primary reason: the fact that late President Buhari was known to be not just an advocate of, but a practitioner of moral rectitude, integrity, and lack of corruption. He came into office, he rode into office on the reputation of him being a disciplinarian, an austere person, a non-lavish person, a person who abhorred corruption, dishonesty, graft, theft, you name it. All of the things that spell corruption, he stood against. And I've never heard any allegation laid at his feet about personal corruption, whether when he was first head of state or when he came back as president. So it seems rather schizophrenic that somebody who himself was a towering giant of incorruptibility was now surrounded by people. And the sheer quantum of people we are talking about here boggles the mind that so many could be facing allegations of corruption in a Buhari administration. I remember the first month that President Buhari was in office, and we didn't have one single power failure across the entire country. And people said the fear of Buhari is the beginning of efficiency and the beginning of plugging all the loopholes and all the leakages in government. That everybody's so scared of this man that they're all sitting up. Nobody is stealing any money, and you know, look at, and they gave the issue of no blackouts as evidence of the fact that everybody is so in line now based on Buhari's reputation. So 8 years later, to now see the sheer quantum, you have Timipre Silva. Last week it was Ngige. Week before it was Malami. You have Hadi Sirika. You have Emir Fiele. You have the former Minister of Power, Maman. And you just start counting all of them and you say, what? And it makes me ask, did late President Buhari sleep his way through the 8 years he was in power? Was it just his reputation that preceded him, but was he really hands-on in terms of what was going on around him? Otherwise, how? I mean, yeah, these are all still allegations, right? But there's no smoke without fire, I don't believe. And if we look at our antecedents anyway, when we start talking about, oh, he got appointed to a juicy ministry. What's the meaning of juicy ministry? Right now, we're talking about ambassadorial appointments. Everybody's looking for juicy country to go to. So this notion of juicy is simply based on the idea of what is in it for me. So historically, we've always known that people who go to the ministries, go to the MDAs, there's one particular orientation in our thought process. We're going there to make good for ourselves, make good for our loved ones, make good for our friends, and possibly as a latter thought, make good for the country as a latter thought.
All right, Mr. Akintobi, yes.
Yes.
Well said. We've got time. Well said. Thank you so much. When it comes to the issue of Nigeria, I think the passion exudes literally on everyone, because we just want this to be moderated, to stop as much as possible. So you see, like, it's almost like a crack team of alleged allegations against all of them, the tune of 3.5. You know, Nigeria right now, when you hear the amount that has been alleged, you wonder, billions are no longer a thing. It's now trillions. It used to be millions, now it's billions, then now trillions. But Mr. Akintobi, thank you so much for sharing your insight, as always, very, very apt. We appreciate you, sir.
My pleasure always. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, we'll take a break and we'll get started with issues around national security and a couple of other conversations we have. It's a potpourri of conversations in quick succession. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Welcome back. And so we start off on a very concerning note this morning. Events shaping national security demands attention. And so let's bring in our guest this morning to help us look at some of these issues that are emerging. Our first guest today is Dr. Yahuza Getso, intelligence and security expert, who joins us virtually this morning. Good morning, Dr. Getso. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Bukola. Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
And we'll also have former U.S. officer and security expert as well, Captain Bish Johnson, who also joins us virtually.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Dr. Getso, let me begin with you. News emerging from over the weekend is suggesting, well, is explaining, relationship between a bandit leader and former defense minister. Of course, this comes on the heels of allegations by another individual who has now been sued to court by the Minister of State for Defense. That's on the one hand. The story is on the front page of the papers this morning. The bandit leader, Bello Turji, is speaking about his relationship with Minister Bello Matawalle. Of course, he says he denied collecting a certain sum. But we've also seen another, 1 minute, 36 seconds video of bandits arrested in Kwara State. And some of them were saying that the weapons that they were using to operate were provided by the state government. And there have been concerns coming through that should be investigated. What is your understanding of these emerging developments as far as security is concerned?
Well, I think what I perceive from this is the fact that it is beyond Bello Turji and the Minister of State for Defense. And it is beyond Musa Kamarawa and Minister of Defense. And it is also beyond Sheikh Murtala Asada, that is the Islamic cleric. This is about the national security, the question of national security, national integrity, and the issue of complicit and compromises in between lines. And I think there is need to make things very clear. Maybe those who are making the statement that Bello Turji has affirmed relationship with the minister, I think they doesn't really understand, or they don't understand the language, what the language is speaking. Yes, he said if there is anybody he hates ever much more in life, is that of the minister Bello Matawalle. I don't think that he affirmed relationship with a minister, but rather he said yes, there was a dialogue initiated by the Musa Kamarawa, the person speaking on the other video, who is from Sokoto State, not really from Zamfara State, but who was later appointed as SA after conducting a dialogue, after leading or facilitating a link, a contact between the government of Bello Matawalle, then governor of Zamfara State, now the state minister for defense. And as a result of that, those few who facilitated were appointed as senior special assistants to the minister in order to facilitate the activities of the dialogue. And much later, animal food that is called Dusa was facilitated to have purchased by Musa Kamarawa and distributed. And Bello Turji, in a video he released, the new video that come up on Saturday, the 13th day of December 2025, have clarified that animal food, Dusa, was not given to him free, 100,000. So the question is, where are our intelligence? Who compromises the background investigation and background findings? Who facilitates? Who are the complicits? Lots more of complicits have been found in the governments during Bello Matawalle, during Aminu Bello Tambuwal, during the time of Aminu Bello Masari, during the time of Abdulaziz Yari, during the time of Malam Dauda Lawal Dere, the present governor of Zamfara State, during the time of Governor Adidu Kwarada and the rest, and so on and so forth. And a lot of allegations have been raised. But the question is, what is really happening with our intelligence? What is really happening with the investigations? What is really happening with the judiciary? What is really happening within the cycle of there are complicits, there are compromises, there are state saboteurs, and there are compromises also in the side of the judiciary. Because probably we have had so many apprehensions that has been made. But up till now, we have not gotten any feedback from either the judiciary or the investigation or the intelligence or those who have been apprehended or those who have been alleged. So it is quite difficult and it is quite complex. When we look at the issue in Kwara State, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised to hear this from the bandits, from those who were arrested. But first of all, we are still waiting to hear from the defense and all other security intelligence to provide the information to us to affirm that this video is a really an investigation conducted by the military, because we saw the uniform of the military by the side, but we cannot affirm it because many things like this happened. But I'm not surprised and I'm not disputing that members of Kwara State government or some unscrupulous elements within the Kwara State government, I may not affirm that Kwara State government is directly involved, but I can accept, I can agree, and it can easily, there are so many testable evidences that people within the system facilitated and participated. And you cannot tell me that this activity of the banditry, of the kidnappers and all other criminal activities that has been taking place over time, there is no hand, there are no complicit inside, there are no insiders, there are no compromises, there are no state saboteurs, and there are no negligence. But why do we really have, the question is, do we really have a responsible government? If we have a responsible government, could have been able to fish out who are these guys and why are they responsible? All right, Dr. Awesu, who just finished speaking, made mention very clear that Bello Turji is the most wanted. I don't believe that Bello Turji is wanted because Bello Turji is not in any hideout. I have said it time without number. I have provided relevant and necessary information that could have aided the government or the intelligence or the operations to have captured Bello Turji long before now. But they have never been serious about it. If they are really serious, Bello Turji can be apprehended within 24 hours. Dr. Getso, the Zamfara state governor has spoken many times about the resolve of his administration to arrest Bello Turji. Are you saying that despite the intelligence that you have provided, the government has refused to act on your intelligence? Dr. Getso, very briefly, please. Yes. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that those informations provided by me and provided by the governor, the sitting governor of Zamfara State, that is Malam Dauda Lawal Dere, and the rest of us who are pursuing the interest in fighting this insurgency based on patriotism and based on the belief that Nigeria is ours and Nigeria is our only environment, and based on the knowledge that we have and the contacts and network, I believe if the authorities concerned are really serious, apprehending or arresting Bello Turji is not a big deal. They know where Bello Turji is. If they know how to track somebody who may probably presuming or insinuating or making a negative statement on Facebook and the rest of it, is Bello Turji using a different network beside the MTN, the Airtel, the Glo, and the 9 Mobile? Or are when those you say authorities concerned, on social media, Dr. Getso, the officials using a different network? When you say, I don't believe that. Dr. Getso, when you say authorities concerned, which authority are you referring to? I'm referring to the intelligence. I'm referring to the police. I'm referring to the military. I'm referring to the DSS. I'm referring to the civil defense. I'm referring to all the joint. All right. And I'm also referring to the government.
All right.
Government at the center.
Let's bring in Captain.
Government who is
All right.
responsible.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Getso, let's take it to Captain Johnson now. Captain Johnson, what are your thoughts on both revelations coming through from Zamfara and Kwara State?
Sorry, come again, Bukura?
Captain Johnson, this is for Captain Johnson now. Let's go to Captain Johnson. Same question for you. What are your thoughts or concerns about the revelations coming through from bandit leader Bello Turji about the former Zamfara State governor, and of course the revelations from Kwara State?
Well, my concern is about the question of...
Captain Johnson, this is for you.
Once again, thank you for having me on your program this morning. Well, Nigerians have always have this impression that the insecurity in the country, there is some kind of complicity from within the government. I have always insisted and maintained that most of the insecurity are syndicated operations that involve so many components and so many people and so many elements, all of them who are working together for the same purposes, which is commercial reasons. Banditry, kidnapping has become a commercialized enterprise where people are making a lot of, fortunes over the misfortunes of others. Some of it are fueled by the, unregulated and the illicit mining of our mineral resources in the far north, and also fueled by the vulnerabilities in our borders around that sector between Niger and Chad and the northern Cameroon. So you have influx of all these people, some of the sponsors who may not necessarily be Nigerians. I also believe that there are some foreign sponsors of this banditry that we see in the country, where they kidnap people, abduct people just to divert our attention to the abduction, while they are busy illicitly mining our mineral resources in connivance with highly placed individuals in Nigeria, some of whom may be in the government, and some may have been retired top-level government officials. So what I'm trying to say is, any information or any allegation about some kind of connivance or complicity from anyone in Nigeria should be a matter of serious concern and should be thoroughly investigated. We should not dismiss such accusations on the basis that, okay, it's just a terrorist that is talking, or maybe that they are talking under compulsion. Every information we get should be investigated. I am not saying that these people that I mentioned are actually involved, but what I'm saying is that whatever information we get should be investigated. Now, on the part of the Kwara State government, just like my co-panelists have said, I don't know whether these people have that intellectual capacity to distinguish between some members of the government and the Kwara State government. I believe there could be some people in the government who may have intentionally or unintentionally aided and abetted in the banditry in Kwara State without necessarily connecting it to the top echelon of the government. But we wouldn't know that unless there is a proper investigation. But my problem in Nigeria is that investigations are usually done haphazardly in a quasi manner. At the end of the day, you don't really get to anything at the end of it. If the investigations are intended for us to stop what is happening in this country, we must take those investigations seriously. We can't do them haphazardly. We have to get to the bottom of it. We have to uncover the truth, because it's only when we uncover the truth that we'll be able to get the right solution to the problems and be able to solve those problems.
Right. So let me go back to Mr. Getso and just get a sense of where we're lacking. I know you've mentioned those responsible and all of that, but right now the president has said, on the one hand, let's recruit more strip VIPs of the police officers attached to them, let's take the battle to the terrorists. Do you see all of the measures being made by the government working? Is there something still lacking for you particularly, so we can speak to strategy and just know what more we need to do?
Is this a question for me?
No, that's for Mr. Getso. Okay, I'm not sure he's still with us. I imagine the connection failed at this time, but...
Yeah, come again.
Yeah, my question is particularly about the recent measures from the government, if you can hear me. The recent directions and directives from President Tinubu regarding police officers, NSCDCs, forest guards, and all of that. Do you see all of these new measures and sort of vigor working, or is there anything missing for you? I want us to speak to the strategy now and sort of have a broad view of what we're doing and what more we need to do.
Well, first of all, I want to commend Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for taking a bold action on increasing the number of personnel in all agencies, and then directly involved in all, working with the DSS, or instructing the DSS to work with the forest guard in order to, even though the forest guard, the issue is not about number. The issue is about quality. The issue is about seriousness. The issue is about commitment. Government have been given directions. Government have been given directives. Government have been making policy statements. But the question is, those who have been alleged to be complicit, what measure have the government ever taken? Why is the issue of accountability? Government refused intentionally, I believe. It is intentional measure for several reasons that is based known to the government. Why complicit, compromisers, and those who are participating in corrupt practices have not been handled accordingly. It's not the issue of instruction. It's the issue of following up on the instruction and holding people accountable and responsible for their actions and inactions. Yes, I believe that instructing the civil defense, the DSS, the forest guard, and the military and other security strata, go and do this, go and do that. But after giving the instruction, what follows? Who do we sanction? If Mr. President is not ready to sanction anybody, if Mr. President is not ready to test the pepe by making sure that 1 or 2 or 3 persons have been held accountable and responsible and be dealt with accordingly, we'll never get there. Those instructions will be just a mere normal statement that we have had before. There were instructions for withdrawal of escort from the BIFs over time by many of the Inspector General of Police. Now it comes from the President. And yet, up till almost more than 7 days or more than 11 days, we are still discussing it. Instruction from the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and still being discussed. The instruction have not been implemented yet. There are still people who are still sabotaging that effort, and they have not been sanctioned. So if Mr. President is really serious, if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu really want to tell Nigerians, it's the matter of acting, it's not the matter of statements, it's not the matter of policy, it's not the matter of instruction. Yes, of course, instruction is an ingredient. But after the instructions, what followed? How many people have been sanctioned? Who do you demote? Who do you probably dismiss?
All right.
Because it is a matter of holding people accountable. Test the ground and tell Nigerians and tell the security agencies that you are serious.
Dr. Getso,
we can only see the commitment and the seriousness when people are being sanctioned.
Let's take the same to Captain Johnson. What should be done differently in terms of strategy? And shouldn't we be seeing a difference in the approach to terrorism, particularly to reining on bandits who are interacting, with, Nigerians online on social media, especially now that we have a defense minister who is a retired general in the army?
Well, the issue is not about having a retired general.
This is for Captain Johnson now. Sorry, pardon me, Dr. Getso. Let's take it to Captain Johnson.
Yes, The issue is not about having generals, because we have.
It's for Captain Johnson. Dr. Getso, please just hold on. Captain Johnson.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't believe that this current administration is doing things exactly the same way the previous administration is, pursued their own security affairs. As you have alluded, you've mentioned quite a few steps that had been taken, at least seem to have been instructed to be taken by this current administration, such as withdrawal of, policemen from VIPs. Even though I am not satisfied with its implementation, and I have to also agree with my co-panelists, more often than not in this country, we've had presidents give instructions to those serving them, and those instructions don't get implemented. I think I find it very, very amusing that the Inspector General Police will tell Nigerians that there are only roughly about 11,000 police officers that are following VIPs. I think that number is grossly understated. So our problem has not always been about instructions. Various presidents have given directives, but our problem has always been implementation. And that's where we are getting it, we're falling short, is implementation. I think if the president will follow up with his directives to ensure that those who are serving him and serving this country are not somehow subverting those directives, we will get to where we need to be. But if directives are given and those serving are subverting it, using their technical expertise where they serve to avert, following up the instructions that have been given to them, then the instruction is just merely, in principle, not in practice. That is number one. Now, number two, yes, it's not about the numbers. It's also about the quality, but I agree that I can tell you that both numbers and the quality are necessary. We can achieve both. We can achieve both quantity and quality. There are some other countries that have much more larger security forces than Nigeria, and yet those security forces have both quantity and quality. The truth of the matter is that Nigeria is too vast, both in terms of land mass and in terms of population, for the number of security agencies that we have in this country. So the directive by Mr. President to increase the number of policemen, though that number, even with that increment, is still not enough, but it is better to start somewhere. The directive to increase the Nigerian police force, increase the army, is a good one, because definitely we do need more boots on the ground.
And that would be a fine place to anchor the conversation. Pardon me, Captain Johnson, we must end the conversation now. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for bringing your expertise to this particular subject matter. And we hope that it shapes, developments in terms of policy responses in the coming days. Dr. Yahuza Getso is a security and intelligence and investigation expert, and Captain Bish Johnson is a U.S. Army retired and, of course, military and defense strategist. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
And from security now, we'll switch gears to politics. Jeffrey has this one.
Let's bring in Mr. Matthias Sado. He's a development and leadership strategist. He joins us from Abuja studio. Mr. Sado, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Good morning. Thank you, Jeffrey, and thank you, Kayode. Thank you, Bukola. And congratulations to Kayode for a beautiful award that you just won for China's television, and for yourself and for your team.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be with you guys this morning.
All right, fantastic. So we're shifting gears from national security to politics, which has taken a very interesting turn in recent months, and it's going to, the alignment and realignment will continue. We're seeing political parties gearing up literally. The campaigns have started, whether we agree with it or not, whether INEC is seeing it or not. The campaign started way before now and is even building momentum. But my first natural question is always about possible characterization of all the interplay of the political parties and the players in the system. The APC is advancing strongly as far as the political party is concerned. They now have, by the first quarter of 2026, we can almost estimate that they will be gearing up to almost 30 governors in their fold, leaving the PDP maybe with 4 or 3. I don't know how many will be left in the PDP. And then you have other parties that just have one candidate. On the other hand, the other parties are saying that this is not a natural movement, that this is divide and rule tactics by the Bola Tinubu administration, tactically demobilizing the opposition to make sure that it has a smooth sail. We can go on, but what do you make of it?
Well, thank you very much for having me again. You see, it's interesting how politics is gradually taking over. In fact, as far as this government is concerned, right from the inception, right from the announcement of subsidies gone and all that took place on the 29th of May, the next thing that followed was the intention to contest for 2027, and were it not for the intervention of the President of America, I think politics gradually took over the entire space. So you see, it became something that was a worrisome experience for Nigerians, that we shift from politics to politics. For every 4 years, every 4 years, we talk about politics. We come around and people come on social media to campaign. People come on the podiums to campaign for elections. And immediately after the elections, we start the campaign for the next election. And that has actually done a lot of damage to the society. Now, looking at what is happening at the moment, I am not particularly bothered by the defections that is taking place in the political space, because I believe strongly that I've been an advocate for a people-led politics, people-motivated politics, and I'll be very, very quick to point my fingers to one of our politicians that on one event that appeared on Sunrise Daily, I think I labeled her or called her the star girl of the National Assembly, and as of today, I can boldly declare her as the star girl of Nigerian politics, which is Senator Natasha. Everywhere you turn to today, we're at least for the first time in a very long time, we have been able to identify certain individuals who are not really bothered about, who are not out there just campaigning from election to election, but that they are able to deliver to the people. So with such kind of examples, I think there are some kind of hope for us that we can get it right, because by my assessment, as at today, the most popular politician in Nigeria is Senator Natasha. And it's a great thing that we have such kind of individual, and people are now advocating for that kind of person to be leaders in the society. Now, this is what the president or the government would have done, that if they had been able to solve the problem of insecurity. The team that just passed, appeared on your show, just finished talking about insecurity. The problems of the country are overwhelming. As of today, the 4 major cardinal points of macroeconomic measurements in Nigeria, which is inflation, which is the level of debt and the unemployment and all that. Every single, how would I pull it? Every single indicator pointing to the negative direction, that the government is not doing well. So I think what they are trying to do is to use their failure, or use their what they call strategy, to cover up for their failure, which I think it's not going down well with Nigerians, because anywhere you turn to, Nigerians are much more aware of what is happening in the society today. So for that reason, they can't use the political strategy or the political jagabanism that they have called it. I don't think that can work for the president. And I believe that with all of this that is happening, it's still a clear possibility that the opposition will get it right. And once they're able to get it right, this government will be put on its toes.
Well, interesting submission there, Mr. Sado, and thank you very much once again. But the government will tell you inflation rates, we're doing well. We're nearing the 15% target. Yes, there was a rebasing, so it sort of changed the figure majorly. They'll tell you unemployment too. We're not where we used to be. We're no more at 33%. Again, there was a rebasing that was done to give us the current figure that we have right now. There's a big debate around debt. Is our debt sustainable? They always tell you that's the main issue. Everybody has debt. Even the US has a huge debt. But are we able to pay? That is what really matters, right? So some of those indicators, very debatable, and in fact, government will beat their chest. They will even tell you our foreign reserves doing well, the best in 6 years. But, you know, there's been that conversation around the political atmosphere in Nigeria, which affects governance, right, and the outcome of governance. And that's why I want you to speak to this morning. You have had a taste of the APC in that you said you supported late President Muhammadu Buhari. You said, I think you spent millions to support him then. You've had a taste of a PDP as well. You've had a taste of the ADP. I think you ran for House of Reps and President, respectively, under those parties. So you've sort of tasted the different soups that these political parties have made. First, seeing the trends, the governor of Taraba State officially now making it public that I'm now with the APC, and you see the nation's political map, the way it is going, are you concerned that we may be sliding into what has been described as a one-party state, or you think this is just politics doing its thing? If you can't beat them, you join them.
Yeah, you see, thank you, Kayode. You know, the interesting thing about Nigerian politics is that you have a lot of people in politics who I will call political contractors, basically people who are motivated by their ambition, and their ambition is basically about wealth acquisition, about self-aggrandizement and all, what have you. Now, so if that is the common denominator that we use to measure political activities in the country, it is natural that people who have their ambition, who have the intention that all that they need to do is to make money from politics. So when they see any opportunity or when they see any situation where they find themselves in a position where the only way that they can sustain themselves is to join the ruling political party, it is very easy. And, you know, I've listened to you guys, I've listened to a lot of analysts who have always referred to Nigerian politics as a place where that we lack ideologies, we lack principles. Now, ideology, yes, basically it's lacking in the society, but mostly what is lacking mostly is principles. You have people who want to be in government, who want to be in power, but they lack principles. Today you are in this political party, you campaigned against this political party, you campaigned against these individuals, and then because of self-interest, you now have to align with those kind of things that, you know, we have seen people, Nigerians have analyzed a lot of politicians that they are people who go back to their vomit. Personally, I have been on the side of the people advocating for a people-led society, that we can have a better society. We can have a situation where we are able to put our politics at par, if not at the same level with what we have in America, but with at least a resemblance of a debate of ideas, a debate of way of life, a debate of worldviews that I can present to the Nigerian society that these are the things that I stand for, these are the kind of values that I have, and I'll be able to advocate for Nigerians to believe in my idea, and if by the choice of the people I am elected as a leader, I will be able to implement my ideas and bring into play my plans. But you know, because of the fact that our society is extremely materialistic, you discover that virtually everybody who is going into politics, except for one or two people that I've mentioned earlier on, most of them are driven by these primordial gains and all that. So it's difficult for us to be able to say that you know, those guys who are rushing into the APC today, I strongly do not believe that they are going into the APC because they believe APC is doing well.
Mr. Sado, we're totally out of time. I just wanted you to land on your thoughts, but we're totally out of time. I think your points, they're actually well noted. It's one of the things we're all grappling with. What I, earlier in my remarks this morning, I called juvenile politics, where they just move from helter-skelter all over the place, depending on where their destiny will be preserved politically, for what you call lack of principle or lack of ideology. But I must thank you. It's an ongoing conversation. Matthias Sado is the development and leadership strategist joining us from our Abuja studios. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
You're welcome, Jeffrey. Thank you.
We're not done with politics. We now move over to the conversation around Osun State, where we understand that another faction, after Governor Adeleke defected to the Accord Party and has been given the ticket of the party to run in next year's election, another gubernatorial or governorship candidate has emerged from a faction. Kadi.
Oh, indeed. And we're joined on the program by the chairman of the Accord Party in Osun State. That's our guest on the show today, the chairman of Accord Party in Osun State, Mr. Babalola Akonde. Good morning and welcome to the program, Mr. Akonde.
Good morning.
All right, so Mr. Akonde, let's get right into it. Accord Party welcomed, in quote, the big fish in that sense, the governor of the state, Governor Nuruddin Jackson Ademola Adeleke. And, well, yes, a lot of people thought he was going to go to the APC, he came to your party. But then we hear that another group within your party has done a primary and they have a governorship candidate. So is Accord, or is there discord in Accord? I'm trying to put it together now. What exactly is going on, Mr. Akonde?
Thank you so much. First of all, I need to emphasize this, that there is no discord or any faction in Accord, both at the national level of our party and also at the state level. What happened yesterday is some disgruntled people who are fearful of the candidacy of Ademola Adeleke within the opposition party, organize some unscrupulous element to parade themselves as Accord member and organize illegal and kangaroo primary yesterday. If you follow the event very, very well, I've made a press release yesterday and made a press conference in order to distance ourselves as Accord from such an illegal act. And the Independent National Electoral Commission also made a press release to disassociate themselves from that primary. And they make it clear that they were not aware or involved in that primary. And that make us understand that that primary cannot hold water. It is illegal. Therefore, it is non and void. So there is no faction in Accord Party. All those participated in that primary are unknown to Accord Party as of today. Though in the video that I saw on social media, I could recognize two faces there, but they are no more members of our party. One person from Lagos State that had been expelled from our party for a long time ago, and the second person from Ogun State that had been expelled from our party a long time ago. I don't know their motive behind this. Maybe they think that by doing this, they can confuse people of Osun State. The people of Osun State know our candidacy very, very well, and that is His Excellency, Senator Ademola Jackson Adeleke. That's our sole candidate. So what they did yesterday is just a mere charity, and it will not hold water, and that cannot distract us. There's no faction in Accord at all.
So Mr. Clement Bamibola that emerged as a faction's governorship candidate for the 2026 Osun election, are you saying he's also not a member of the party?
At all. I do not know him. So if you look at the video that is circulating on the social media, you find out that you will not see INEC is not there. INEC wasn't there. Who is the chairman of the party that attended that primary? So this is just a mere charity. I did not know them at all. They are not known to Accord. I could not even recognize any face among the crowd, those who served as delegate there. So they are not our members. We don't know them. Even the man that claimed to be the candidate in that illegal primary. I've never seen the face. I've never heard the name before. It's not known to our party, both at the national and at the state level.
So, Professor, the governor of Osun State, Mr. Adeleke, has said that he has since joined the party in November, and he only waited to announce his defection to the Accord Party because he didn't want to unsettle things, especially as the PDP was going to have its convention in Ibadan. So it's around the same timing that the Accord Party announced the suspension, and I'd like you to correct me if I'm wrong, announced the suspension of Professor Chris Imumolem, whom you're referring to as having been suspended alongside other members of the party, other state chairmen of the party. Does their suspension and this conflict have anything to do with the governor's defection to your parties? Are you all now trying to own one portion of the party or the other, following the governor's defection to your party?
Thank you. To set the record straight, Imumole and his co-travelers were not suspended when Dr. Senator Ademola Adeleke to our party. They have been suspended since January this year during our National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja because of their gross misconduct that happened last year, August, during our convention. Imumole never participated in our convention. He did not even purchase a nomination form at all. So after the convention last year, August, he went to court and he told the court that he won the convention, but INEC refused to recognize him. So he lied to court. And when we were being served, we sent our legal team to the court and made them to realize that Imumole never participated in that convention. And that is why his case was struck out. And he did not appeal that case. He did not appeal the judgment up to this moment, even though the time for appeal has expired. You understand my point? So Imumole did not participate in that convention. So there is no way someone who did not participate in an election will come and claim victory. So that is not what transpired. They were not suspended when Senator Ademola was about to defect to our party. They have been suspended and expelled from the party since January this year in Abuja. I think January 19th of such. So it's not that they were just suspended. No, at all. They have been suspended since January this year.
So let's talk about beyond the issue around the suspension, which we may come back to if we have the time. Let's talk about the chances of the party. I know that with the governorship seats, the incumbent being a candidate of the party, there's a big chance, naturally. But also we have what they call the federal might in this case. It looks like the APC is actually interested in Osun State, given all the nuances ahead of time before this election. You see the battle with the local government elections, the local government administration that is still on. And it's just a situation that is unfortunate in Osun State. It means that maybe not, the federal might is still interested in taking over Osun State, given what has played out in the last election. How is the party working to navigate this possible odd that is against you?
Thank you so much. It is natural for the ruling party at the national level to be interested in every election that will take place in the states or even the local government level or the world level. That is natural. Every political party wants to win an election. But this is democracy. The will of people shall surely prevail. In the last elections, the will of people prevailed, even though the ruling party, the APC, was the ruling party then in 2022. So the same thing will happen now because our candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, is the man of the people. When the internal crisis in PDP started, and it is obvious to us that it may be difficult for the governor to be able to navigate those crises. The people of Osun State called upon the governor to go and choose any party of his choice, that they will follow that party. The people that them. This is democracy. It is the people that will determine, that will choose who will rule them, who they want to be their leader. And the people of Osun State have spoken clearly. So we know that the federal government, the ruling party, want to influence the result of the election here. So we are fully prepared for that. And the people of Osun State are fully prepared for that. And because of some move that we have been seeing, we are working and we are putting up strategy to make sure that we navigate all these perceived and real threats to our victory come August 2028. So we are aware of this and we are putting strategy in place. And we are educating and enlightening our people in Osun State that they should not be disturbed or be confused because of all these things. It is natural in politics, and we expected that. But this is democracy. The will of the people shall prevail. Adeleke is people's governor.
All right.
And even last week during our primaries, immediately he joined our party, and we finished the primary on Wednesday. He moved around the city, and you could see the crowd, the masses that came out to welcome him and to welcome the new party. Right. So victory is sure, irrespective of any forces that may be working against us. The will of the people shall prevail, and we know for sure God is on our side.
Interesting times. I think you meant to say August the 8th, 2026. That's for the governorship election. Yes. Right. On a final note, I want to find out if you are aware that you have to support President Tinubu for 2027, the Accord Party in the state.
For now, we are only working on the governorship. Our principal have never discussed anything of sort with us as a Accord Party.
No, it's not. It's not just with you. He has discussed
anything of such nature.
He has discussed
it with. We are only focused.
Yes.
Presently on the relation of our principal.
He has discussed it with the people of the state, with Nigerians, time and again, that he supports President Bola Tinubu. So it's a given that his party in the state, which he leads, will naturally support whoever he supports. So are you saying that for you as a party, you are not going that way? He can go whichever way he wants to go, but you are not supporting the president for 2027?
I cannot say that for now. As I've said earlier on, he has not discussed that with us. I know, I'm aware of what you said. That was when our principal was in PDP, but presently it's in Accord. So for now, we have not discussed anything of such. But I believe when we get to the place, we shall know how we cross it. For now, our goal, our focus, and our only attention is on how our principal will be elected in the governorship.
Mr. Abubakar, Chairman, Accord Party in Osun State, says that the Accord is not in discord. We have to thank you for your time and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a moment now, and when we return, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami is caught in the net of the EFCC. His party has been speaking, the government has been speaking as well. What exactly is at play here? We'll find out in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back, and let's delve into more politics. This time, we're staying with the African Democratic Congress, of course, with respect to the involvement of former Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami, who is being tried by the EFCC. Now, when the former Attorney General of the Federation is concerned, there's so many, angles to discussing either his involvement in politics or his record as former Attorney General. Let's bring in Mr. Habib Abubakar Sambo, the Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, who joins us virtually this morning. Mr. Abubakar, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very kindly for having me.
So let's begin with your party's position as far as EFCC's trial of the former Attorney General is concerned. Your party has been speaking and saying that the commission has been selective and he should release the former Attorney General. But of course, we've seen the EFCC also initiating trials on allegations of financial misappropriation against former ministers in the cabinet of late President Muhammadu Buhari. So help us understand your party's reasoning on its accusation of selectiveness against the commission.
It should be noted that Abubakar Malami was a foundation member of the APC. He served for 8 years, and since the inception of this government, Abubakar Malami was in APC until when he recently made a declaration that he is contesting to be the governor of Kebbi State. 2 days after his declaration, then EFCC sent him an invitation. He went there and was granted bail, and he did not jump any condition of the bail. He came back to Kebbi for his own political activities, and 2 days after coming, EFCC sent him another invitation. So in all honesty, this is not a coincidence. It is a carefully choreographed political witch hunt. Abubakar Malami is anti-corruption champion. If it was a uniform fight against corruption, I believe he himself would have applauded it. But this is a selective fight against corruption. There are people in government that were under investigation, but now for the fact that they have joined the APC, the investigation has been carpeted. But Abubakar Malami and many other opposition figures that are now championing the agenda of throwing APC into the political dustbin are being witch hunted. So that is unacceptable. Section 35, subsection 4 of the Nigerian Constitution mandates that every arrested person should be charged to court within 24 hours if there is a court within 40 kilometers of the place of the arrest, or at most 48 hours. He has been there for virtually 6 days now, and there is no official statement from the EFCC why he is in detention. And they go on media trial, and in actual sense, what is being said on the media is entirely different from the actual issue of contention.
So talk to us about what is the actual issue in contention, because we must uphold the rule of law. Yes, you're very correct as to when someone is accused, how long it will take for the person to be charged to court. But we'll reference that because there were times in the past where even he has been accused and he's defended it, if my memory serves me right, where courts have given judgment and the issue of national security over fundamental rights became a contentious issue. And he said national security, fundamental right, for instance, is not absolute when it comes to national security. So it looks like, the monster you created is like a monster you created is now coming home to bite in that situation. This just is a general comparison, without saying is guilty or not guilty, because the court will decide all of that. But get back to us on what exactly did they say he did, from besides what we know is being reported.
Up to this moment, there is no official statement from EFCC of what he has done. There is no official statement. And as a party, as I told you, we are solidly behind Abubakar Malami, and we want EFCC and all other security agencies to respect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What is said on the media remains a mere rumor, since it cannot be proven. And no official statement from EFCC till this moment.
Well, the former Attorney General himself had spoken about it, saying that the EFCC invited him to maybe clarify issues around duplication in the Abacha loot matter. There have also been reports of allegations of him having several bank accounts and the rest. But what has been said by some is that since he was Attorney General, he understands the process. We can talk about bail being discretionary, as the FCC had spoken about him not meeting all of the conditions and all of that. Some are saying, how about you just allow the process be concluded? So whether you're guilty or not, we'll see it. Again, this is a former Attorney General of the Federation, so this is someone that should uphold integrity, transparency, and accountability.
Let me clear this misconception. it is not true that Abubakar Malami has 46 bank accounts. It remains a mere social media trial and rumor. And I don't know which law of Nigeria forbids one from having as much account as he wishes. As ordinary as I am, I have virtually 12 accounts. How much more of a person of caliber of Abubakar Malami? And we are not saying Abubakar Malami is above the law, but certainly he should not be under it. His fundamental rights should be maintained.
Did you say
all what we are saying?
Did you say he should not be? Pardon me. Did you say he should not be under the law?
Yes, he should not be.
So he should be above the law or at par with the law?
He should be related with in accordance with the law of Nigeria. That is all we are saying.
Mr. Abubakar, how would you know if the former Attorney General of the Federation doesn't have that number of bank accounts?
Because there is no official statement to say that. EFCC did not say that. It remains a social media rumor. And if EFCC has, well, I have not seen it. And it has not. But since the beginning of this case, we have been on it. We have been following them. We have been following the development. EFCC never said Abubakar Malami has 46 bank accounts.
But would the EFCC be investigating your principal just because it wants to have a jolly ride? Shouldn't the party allow the EFCC, perform its statutory functions?
EFCC is a formation of law. Therefore, it should investigate him in accordance with the law. Detaining him for virtually 6 days without charging him to court is illegal and unacceptable.
So why do you say that the FCC is on a witch hunt? Because there are other former ministers under the cabinet of late President Muhammadu Buhari who are also being tried by the EFCC. Former Minister of Aviation is being tried. Former Minister of Labor, Dr. Chris Ngige, is also being tried. And they are all APC members. As a matter of fact, the former aviation minister has denied having any links with any coalition or any political party. So why is your principle an exception to the rule? Why do you say he's been witch hunted?
Even during the election of 2023, Chris Ngige made it incandescently clear that he will never campaign for this government and its leader. He made it incandescently clear. And we heard a rumor that he was about to declare his interest to join the ADC this very week. And when they got the information, they got him arrested. Abubakar Malami, as I have said, was rather a member of the APC. He was never invited by EFCC until when he declared his intention to run for the governorship of Kebbi State. That was when they invited him. So there are many people in government that are supposed to be under EFCC investigation. Their files are still not closed.
Well, the EFCC
example, they are former chairman.
Pardon me. The EFCC could well say that it's probably when he heard that there was going to be an invitation that he decided to declare for governor ahead of that. I mean, it could go either ways, right? But this is an ongoing conversation and something we're definitely following. But it's important to hear all of the sides and ensure that the right thing is done. Bukala.
It's not when he heard, sir. They sent him an invitation on Wednesday and said they needed to see him on Thursday. And we believe it is a careful, choreographed political witch hunt, so that to detain him over the weekend and claim it is not a working day. No more, no less.
All right. Well, Mr. Abubakar, so many reactions are trailing your party's position about this particular investigation being, out of bias or not necessarily in line with the law. Someone has been speaking on X, and that's the former chairman of the NHRC, Human Rights Commission, and he says your former principal he described him as a grubby, vexatiously political attorney general, and if he's accusing the EFCC of being biased, they're only carrying out what exactly he taught them. I'd like you to react to this in 10 seconds, and then we can wrap up.
Well, that is his own opinion, and I believe that is not true. Abubakar Malami is an anti-corruption champion, and his records speak for him.
All right.
He has championed anti-corruption in this country, and if anybody over there will have, a different opinion, that is for him. But in Kebbi, he is widely celebrated and across Nigeria. And believe you me, history has shown that anybody that faces this political persecution, it is a signal that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. The government at the center and at the local level are scared of what Abubakar Malami can do politically, and 2027 will show it. Irrespective of whatsoever, Abubakar Malami remains adamant, focused, resolute, and determined.
2027 is upon us already, Mr. Abubakar. Habib Abubakar is the publicity secretary of the African Democratic Congress. Thank you for joining us on this particular one.
Thank you very kindly for having me. Thank you.
All right, we will now move, switch gears from that political talk to what you are saying across social media, and we'll get to some of the things that you've been reacting to, one of which is the NLC saying there's no going back on protest, nationwide protest against national insecurity. That's credited to, I think, Joe Ajero, the national president of the NLC. But let's get straight to what you are saying. This is coming in from Prince. Prince says, I support them, but they should take the protest to the village where the kidnapping is frequent. Is this like a setup?
To be fair,
it sounds nice.
The NLC should have representation everywhere. That's how it works. It's almost like government. You have members everywhere. So yes,
they have members everywhere.
Yeah, that's it. So if there are areas like that, the NLC people there should also protest. I think it should be aggregated. That's the NLC president. Perhaps we'll just take a listen to part of what he said.
It's not just the state of welfare of Nigerian workers, but the state of welfare of Nigerians. Because there's no social safety net. You are talking of those that are working and they're getting 70,000. There are people that are not working. How are they surviving? Have you made life easy for them? If they are sick, can they go to the hospital and receive treatment? Can they move from one point to the other? The schools, are they free? What of housing? Do you have housing policy for the less privileged and whatever? Those are issues, that some advanced countries in the world will work on for the interest of all. Because if the emphasis is on workers alone, we'll be getting it wrong. 70,000, like I said earlier, is not the whole, it's not what we are looking at. We're looking at that which can take the worker home. But if you make life easy and you have proper agri policy, where the state is involved and they flood the market.
Joe Ajero there and the preamble to the planned protest. Shujuwala Ayotunde has this saying, this action is late. What the NLC needs to do now is to support the ongoing state of emergency on insecurity as declared by the president. We need to unite to end insecurity in Nigeria. Shalom, he says.
Well, May Foley, 1999. Interesting name. This is what you have to say. Will the strike bring down the insecurity? NLC should prefer a solution, work with the government, rather than further heating up the polity. Well, I wonder if this is political.
That will be M for life, by the way. Interesting names you find across board. But yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's the opinion. Let's see. Let's go to the next conversation you've been raising across the social media, and that has to do with the federal government banning admission and transfer of SS3 students in secondary school. So before now, you could go from one school to another school and get admitted as SS3 so you can write your NECO or your WAEC examination, as the case may be. But it looks like the federal government, through the Ministry of Education, is saying no to it. I'm not sure the reason why. Perhaps they're insisting that if you didn't make it in your own school, go write GC. I don't know the rationale behind it. But
it's for malpractice as well, because it breeds malpractice.
To check malpractice. Okay, there's a lot going on with the Federal Ministry of Education this period. Christopher Iheme says, it's a good development, but how will they enforce this? Then again, this is the least problem we have in the education sector of this country. Address how to send back the 20 million out-of-school children to schools and a Marjorie. That is according to Christopher Iheme. Kari, you have the next one.
That's Kendowski says this is early preparation for those that always switch to the Miracle Center to SS3 without even knowing the school anthem. So you have to start from SS1 to prepare you. So yeah, it's something we actually see a lot. Perhaps this can reduce the malpractices.
The Education Authority just has to strengthen systems in combating malpractice, because that's not the only route to the commission of exam malpractices in different school centers. But it's a good move in the right direction as well. I'm just wondering how that will also impact on perhaps Nigerians who are coming in from other countries and they seek admission into the equivalent of the class that they were in the country that they were coming from. I'm just wondering how this will impact on them, such that there's no setback in their educational pursuit. Let's get to another one. This one, pictures from judges exempt from police withdrawal order, CJN. That the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kikere Ekun, has said that the presidential directive ordering withdrawal of police officers attached to VIP is part of measures to combat insecurity in the country. And Ola is a first user this morning who says, I also agree with that, because people that give judgment on people need maximum protection, and their police withdrawal will not make any sense at all. Jeffrey.
Judge is saying if civil defense is not qualified enough to protect them, why should they protect us?
There you go.
It's aura for aura.
So this begins to get clearer by the day, but yes, we need to protect the judiciary. It's very important. Finally, let's show you this image of, the PDP leaders led by the Turaki-led PDP, let me just say, meeting former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And right after that meeting, he declared that the PDP is back. So, the former president is quite interesting how he has stayed relevant. And of course, he looks very young too, almost like the older he grows, the more agile he is. But the same former president actually was at the Aso Rock event with the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu. In fact, holding hands recently. So you just, should you say that he's also supporting the APC? But there you go, guys.
Well, we understand that the PDP is doing everything that it can to ensure stability and to ensure some form of credibility for it ahead of the 2027 general elections. We've heard that former President Goodluck Jonathan was also being wooed to take up the candidacy of the political party. Mr. Jonathan hasn't said anything about that since the news of that particular intention came from the PDP. And we recall, popularly some years ago, former President Olusegun Obasanjo tore his PDP card. So where does this lead us, gentlemen?
At the end of the day, we just want a stable opposition. It's good for democracy for the opposition to be stable. I know that if this was the PDP that was benefiting from, what the APC is not benefiting with so many governors moving, they'll say, there's nothing wrong. That's why the APC will not see anything wrong with it. We're not interested in what is wrong or which party is speaking. We're just interested that for us to have a thriving democracy, no party should sit pretty and easy. There should never be a time when any political party will say, we can stay here for as long as we want. No. You can only last for 4 years. If you mess up, they kick you out. But let's hope. But Akade will say, and I'm beginning to believe, it looks like this is our own brand of politics. But that's it. Congratulations again to Kayode Kikelo. We won this one. Newscaster of the Year 2024 at the NMMA Nigerian Media Merit Award, the most prestigious media award in Nigeria. So congratulations, man.
Congratulations to all of us.
It's heavy, so take it back.
And that's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey. It's a brand new week. Enjoy it.
Have a productive week. Sunrise Daily is up next. I am Bukola Koka.
Oh, yes, we're taking you to the chamber of Sunrise Daily, where we have Kayla Maokwe and the king of the chamber himself. You'll find out in a moment. Have a great day. Goodbye.